Hello, it's Dana with Love Sola Flowers, and we are going to be talking about our large hydrangea today. These wood flowers you can purchase on our website. It's lovesolaflowers.com, along with a bunch of other supplies and fillers and containers and all those good things. And as well as you can watch tutorials here on YouTube at youtube.com/lovesolaflowers. But we get a lot of questions about our large hydrangea. So I'm going to show you what it looks like in a minute, but I've actually purposely kind of destroyed mine. So this is not necessarily how it will come. It's not how it should come, but it can come like this because of shipping. So I've smushed it and messed it up. So again, I did this on purpose for the sake of this tutorial, but you can see each blossom is on its own little flexible wire. What that means is that when it's put in a box and when you put other things in there, it can get squished up because, again, the blossoms are kind of very movie, but that's okay because it doesn't mean it's damaged. It doesn't mean you can't use it. It takes just a minute or two to fix, to make it perfect, and you're not going to have to worry about throwing it out just because the blossoms have moved in shipping. So I'm just going to show you how to do it. We're going to actually time it today so we can show you how your flowers are easily used even if they come like this. And again, this is not necessarily a defect in it. It's just that it's a flexible, fragile flower, and you're going to just want to make sure you're fluffing it up before you use it. So I'm going to show you again how to use it, but I want to time us. And basically, we're just going to lift up each blossom very carefully. You don't want to yank it so that it comes off its stem, but we're going to just lift each blossom up until the stem is perfectly straight, because the stems have actually been cut and put on here so that it makes the perfect shape without us having to maneuver anything. Okay, so we are at, we're going to be at 2 minutes, and then I'm going to time us to show us how long we can take a large hydrangea and put it into perfect shape. Okay, let's go. So again, we're going to take each blossom and we're just going to straighten it to its fullest extent of the wires, because the reason that it's misshapen is simply because the wires have bent, because again, they're flexible, and they're flexible on purpose. You wouldn't want a hard, stiff hydrangea. It wouldn't look realistic. It wouldn't have movement. So again, I'm taking each blossom and I'm just straightening it out to the fullest extent of its wire. And if you see any that are like crisscrossed, you're just going to uncrisscross them. And we're almost done. I think all of my wires are straightened. Yep, all of my heads. And again, once we get that, again, if they're twisted, you're just going to want to untwist them. We're just going to pull them again to the fullest extent. Now, once I've got all of my wires as far as they go, I'm going to hold them and squeeze them in my hand a little bit here. And I'm just going to pat the top to make sure they're all combined nicely. And then we've got our newly shaped hydrangea. And if you want them even a little tighter, what I do too, let me just show you this too. So that's how we got all of our blossoms back into the space they were supposed to be. But if you want them to be a nice tight flowers, you know, like squeeze tight. So what I like to do is I like to hold it here, and you can give it actually a little twist so that it holds the wires nice and tight. And then you've got kind of like a little tighter ball here. And again, we're just doing that. All right, and then we're back into the shape that we want it to be. Again, you don't have to tighten it up. I just sometimes like that so that they stick nice and close together. Now, if you have any of your blossoms that are a little bit squished or need some help, none of these are. Again, I try to squish them just to make it for this tutorial. But if your blossoms are, we're going to fluff them the same way we do the rest of our wood flowers. We'll just give it a little squirt of water, and then we'll form, you know, the petals to untwist them if those are twisted as well. But this one did not have any that I can even show you to fix. But again, the water will activate the petals to being nice and soft and flexible, and then you can put those in the way that you need them. Now, If you're going to dye it, you don't need to even spray them at all. You're just going to dip it directly in your paint mixture, and then you can fluff things around. If you are dyeing them, that little trick of twisting it a little tighter also will keep it nice and bundled when you dip into your paint mixture. Sometimes that helps, keep it into its shape once you've dipped it in the water. Now, again, with the fluffing process, if you want to just dye them, even if it's all crunchy, whatever, first, and then pull it up and shape it, that's sometimes easier too, because again, once the water hits it, it makes it nice and soft and flexible, and then that way it's easy to get into its shape. But this is how you get it back into the shape it's supposed to be. All we did was straighten it. I think it only took like a minute and a half max to get those blossoms back into shape. And then of course the trick of twisting it tighter if you'd like to do that. Again, all I did was take this and I twisted my handle a couple times, and that keeps it nice and full. If you like it wider and opener and looser, again, leave that free flowing that way. So again, don't pull on them too tight. You don't want to pull the blossom off, but if you happen to pull too tight, the blossom comes off. Just a little dot of hot glue and you put it right back on that wire and you're all good to go. So again, if your hydrangea comes squished, which again, it totally can, because these little wires on here are super, super flexible. It's not a hard wire like we use on a stem. It's a super, super bendy thing. So it's very common in a box to be pressed down with the rest of the stuff you want, that the flowers and the blooms get moved all over. Just pop them to their full extent and reshape them nicely. And then you have a brand new hydrangea in less than 2 minutes. All right, hope you enjoyed that. I look forward to seeing all of you use hydrangeas for your projects. They're beautiful flowers. Of course, we can hand paint them, we can dip dye them, or we can leave them white.